In this tutorial, we are going to understand about different properties about the alignment of items inside a Flexbox. And on the other hand, we are going to analyze a particular property known as flex shrink. So stay tuned. Hello and welcome to another new episode of Learning Simplified. In this tutorial, we are going to understand different alignment properties of Flexbox elements and another property which is known as flex shrink. This is so far been the project that you have seen. Now by default, Flexbox provides equal height property. That means every content, irrespective of the fact the amount of content inside a particular Flexbox element, each and every element height will be the same, and this is the default value that is set to Flexbox items. So let's get back to our project, and in this mother wrapper we are now providing a particular property which is known as align items. If we choose flex start and get back to our project and reload, we can see that each and every items, they are practically getting started from the topmost position. As you can see here, this is the topmost position from where every items are getting started, but the height of the Flexbox elements, those are now getting in accordance to the contents present inside it, as we can see over here. On the other hand, instead of flex start, if we now use flex end, now if we reload, now we can see that the scenario is a little bit different. The flex is now starting from the extreme end, as we can see over here. They are now aligned in the orientation from the end, and all of them are practically getting sized as per accordance to the contents inside them. Now if we just use center, now if we reload, we can see that these Flexbox elements, those are now aligned in accordance to their center. And if we use stretch, now we can see that each and every elements, each and every Flexbox elements, those are practically getting aligned in accordance to the equal height property, irrespective of the fact how many contents are present inside those Flexbox elements. This particular property is by default property of any Flexbox elements. That is why we do not need to provide any such kind of attribute over here, as we can see that they will be the default value of this particular Flexbox elements. Now if we get down over here, we can see that in our previous tutorial we have used a particular property which is known as flex1. This practically denotes the size of a particular Flexbox element, and in accordance we can see that this blue box, which is practically known as central box central, here it is, press F12 and select this one, and you can see this blue box is practically central box central, and it is getting thrice as the size of each of these rest of the boxes. Now we are going to use a particular property which is known as flex shrink. If we use that particular property over here, here it is. We have now changed all those flex properties into flex shrink, and the values are remaining same. In the first case, that means in the case of left box left, it is 1, in the case of right box right, it is 1, and in case of central box central, it is 3. Now if we get back to our project and reload, we can see that the central box central element, that means the blue box, here it goes, this blue box, which was practically intended to be at a size of thrice than the other two boxes present in this Flexbox container. Instead of getting a thrice of the size, it is now getting 1/3 of the rest of those two blocks. But this is not the actual intention that we wanted to make. So that is why we now need to reorder all these properties. So instead of providing flex shrink to 3 for the central box central, I'll be placing it to 1, and then I'll be changing this right box right value to flex shrink to 3, and the same goes for this left box left value. Press Ctrl S, get back to your project and reload, and now you can see that the blue box is getting bigger again. So this is practically the flex shrink function in case of a flexbox element. And if we now, in case of this, if we now give a higher value as we are providing here, for say we are providing this flex shrink into 6 value. Now if we reload, we can see that still the flexbox element, it now grows. Blue box, it is now practically 6 times the size of the rest of these 2 boxes. I would be rather suggesting the old version of setting the size, which is known as flex property. And always remember to set the size accordingly. Now if we press Ctrl S, get back to our project, this is how it looked like in the last case. And if we reload, and we can see that we can get back to the old display feature that we had encountered in our previous case. So that's all for this tutorial. In the next tutorial we are going to discuss on mobile responsiveness. So all these things will be discussed, will be dealt with in our next tutorial. Stay tuned. Do not forget to hit that red subscribe button. Hope to see you guys in our next tutorial. Till then, bye.